Well, hello there! Welcome to the Obi Thorn Alliance. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Luke.
And in today's video, we're doing our top 5 movies from 1999. If you like the sound of that, stick around.
So we're continuing our series of going through from the years that Jacob was born, moving up to the present time, doing our top 5. 99, when we looked at it, it was a pretty cool list. There was a lot of big movies that came out in 99. So I was 7 at the end of 1999. You were 3. So probably weren't watching the movies in 99. We're probably still watching cartoons. But going back and watching them now and seeing which ones were classics or ones that stood out from our childhood has been an interesting journey. Yeah. So let's get into the list. So at number 5, I've got American Pie. So this is the start of the American Pie franchise, which then branched out to have heaps and heaps of spin-off movies. The first one, probably not the funniest one, but was the most iconic. It brought to life some great characters like Stifler, and also we had Stifler's mum, so it's quite funny. Those two great characters, there's great movies, and I still have watched these American Pie movies today and find them quite funny. So, great movie, American Pie. What do you got number 5?
My number 5 is the legendary Toy Story 2, such a nostalgic movie, seeing Woody and Buzz Lightyear, more character development with Woody, was seeing how he came from a franchise and just seeing how the franchise grew up. And one of my favorite animation franchise, Toy Story, growing up, and well deserves to be on the list.
Yeah, Toy Story, what an iconic franchise that is. So at number 4, I've got another American. I've got American Beauty. So this is really high up there on the IMDb list of top movies from 99. Very artsy, a very iconic film. I don't know if it's for everyone, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it's one of those must-watch films for most people, but I don't know if it's rewatchable. I like it, but I think a lot of people watch and go, well, I didn't see what the whole thing was. But it's just an artsy film that was probably ahead of its time, where those type of films are a dime a dozen now. What have you got at number 4?
Of course, Star Wars The Phantom Menace Episode 1, and I know a lot of people didn't like the prequels as much, but I liked how they showed the fall of Anakin Skywalker and just the story of that journey. I know a lot of people didn't like Jar Jar Binks. I think he was an okay character, not the best, but overall I enjoyed The Phantom Menace, and definitely a good movie.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I remember as a kid having the toys and being really into that Star Wars franchise. I don't know if I love it as much now, but as a kid I thought it was pretty cool. So at number 3, I've got The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser, who kind of went missing for many years until coming back recently in The Whale. Yeah. At the time when The Mummy came out, he was in absolutely everything, and he was the Hollywood's golden boy. The Mummy was just a really good film. There was 2 or 3 of them in the end they made.
There was 3, and then the one with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so really enjoyed them. It really got me into the whole Egyptian thing and what was going on there. I remember distinctly going to Movie World, and they had a mummy maze, and having to walk through that and getting scared, and that still sticks out to me as a little kid. So The Mummy was a really good movie that I enjoyed watching. What have you got at number 3?
Coincidentally, The Mummy as well. Growing up with this franchise, it was the first movie that was my favourite action movie growing up. Brendan Fraser's such a star in his young days, and really enjoyed growing up with the first one, and then leading up to number 2, and then the third one. Really enjoyed the franchise, and leading up to enjoying this film from watching other more adventure sort of styles, liking Indiana Jones and James Bond. I think it was because of this film that I got into action adventure genres.
Yeah, totally. So at number 2, I've got Fight Club. So Fight Club, I recently just got convinced Jacob to watch, and I assume it's coming up soon on his list. So this is Brad Pitt starred in this, and Ed Norton. Just a really good movie. Once you've seen it, it's hard to unknow the twist, but I still think it's worth watching, and it's one of those absolute must-see movies for everyone in their lifetime at least once. And just don't talk about Fight Club, whatever.
Do not talk about Fight Club.
Coincidentally, my number 2 as well is Fight Club. I really enjoyed watching it. I'm glad that Luke recommended me to watch it. It was definitely worth watching. I actually kind of saw the twist coming because the movie leads you snippets with the twist coming, but I won't spoil that for you. And it's really one in a million sort of movie. It's definitely ahead of its time about mental health issues, and definitely need to watch again to pick up on things. And yeah, definitely a well-made masterpiece.
So that leads me to my number 1, which is Big Daddy. For my last list, I had an Adam Sandler film. So you'll see throughout these that I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. So Big Daddy, recently watched it again. I got told to rewatch it apparently. Once having a young boy, apparently the movie hits a bit differently. And I do agree it did. And it was a lot more relatable. And I think for an Adam Sandler film, this one is probably one of his more serious ones that are still funny. He's in a lot of other serious films that aren't funny, but this one was serious and funny, had a good message, and I think it's a really, really iconic movie for Adam Sandler. What have you got at number 1?
My number 1 is, of course, The Matrix. Such ahead of its time to dealing with AI and the internet. And back in the 90s, the internet wasn't as big as it is now. And you could argue that it just should have been a one and done product. But of course, they made 2 other sequels, and then the 4th movie that shall not be named, and such a fantastic movie. Very confusing and very, is Neo even the one, or is Agent Smith the one? Such a great franchise and such a fantastic film and masterpiece of a film.
What a very different list we had there. Yours was very caught in like sci-fi, fantasy, or action, and mine was very much comedy. So any honourable mentions for you that didn't make the list?
The Austin Powers.
Yeah, for sure. That was an honourable mention for me. I guess you had them in your list, but I didn't. Was The Phantom Menace and
Toy Story.
Toy Story, yeah. Obviously liked both those films, just didn't make the list for me. Probably could have added Election was another option. Bowfinger with Eddie Murphy in it. That's a great film. And yeah, 99 was South Park. The South Park film feels a bit outdated now in comparison to what South Park looks like in terms of its animation, but absolutely hilarious for the time. And probably one of the most watched films I've ever watched. So the South Park movie would have been. That's an honourable mention.
Three Kings as well, and Sixth Sense, but don't remember those movies as much.
Yeah, I've seen each of those once, and I don't remember everything about it. I remember The Sixth Sense having a big twist and being a well talked about film. It's probably one of those ones that everyone should watch once, but I watched it once and I don't remember it, so I must watch it again.
Well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the movie. As of course, comment down what your list is from this year. Be very curious to know. As always, you're awesome and keep being awesome. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.